Now, what if I told you movies wouldn't work without music? So, when you think of a soundtrack, let's take Pirates of the Caribbean as an example. A really great movie. So, when you hear the theme song, you really don't think of anything else other than the pirate standing on top of the deck, looking at the vast grey ocean, and he has a journey, an adventure in front of him. And now, here comes the question. Why does film music hit so hard? And now I can see where you're going, like, oh, but it's just the film music, it really isn't much, nobody focuses on it. And that is a problem. Nobody focuses on it, even though it brings so much, without taking the main scene. And this is just magical. So here comes the question. Why does film music hit so hard? In this video, I will do something most content creators won't tell you to do, which is talk about my passion. And break down why film music is so important and just brings up so many emotions in people. And why movies wouldn't work without music. And maybe personally show you a little bit of my collection. And here's the thing. When you start paying attention to movie music, you will never watch a movie again in the same way. Okay, let's rewind to the late 18th century. Yay. Okay, so before films even had sound, they had music. Clock it. You know that movie so early in cinema history where, there's like this train going into the camera and the audience thought it was a real train. So they started panicking. They started being in the cinema. They started being like, what is happening? We're gonna die? Yeah, that movie. Arrival of the train à la ciutat. Ciutat. Je ne sais pas, je peux parler français dans longtemps. Ok, merci. Well, that, I'm not going to butcher that name again, was a silent movie, my friends. So, here's the thing. Silent movies weren't really silent. And often for the movie's duration, an orchestra even, or a pianist was accompanying. And they were not in the theater as additional entertainment. No, they were there as a guide to the watcher's emotion, to the viewers, to lend them a hand while traveling through the wonders that the movie was. So if you will, a guide to somebody's emotions. Why? Because even in the earliest stages of theaters and of cinemas, people and directors knew how music brings so much and how much it is important. Because without it, the movie seemed plain. The whole surrounding seemed plain. Well, imagine, you're just sitting with like 30 other people in a room quietly, while some other people are also quietly doing something on the screen, and nobody speaks because this is the etiquette. Yeah, kinda awkward. That's why directors brought music, even live music, because they couldn't bring it on screen yet, into the theaters. Also, just in addition, imagine just sitting there, right, with all those people in quiet, with the quiet movie playing on, with just a tape sound playing, rolling very loudly behind you. Oh, that was, by the way, one of the reasons why they brought also live music. Because even though it was a guide, it was also just a practical choice. The tape playing sounds were so loud that they needed something to make it quieter. You see where I'm going with this? But most importantly, the live music was there to tell the viewer how he or she should feel. And I know what you will say. Oh, but Hella, music can't do that much. Try watching a horror movie in silence. Come on, try it. It was relatively simple. Happy scene? Happy, upbeat, calm music. And pretty much hopeful music. Action scene? High tempo, high volume, everything, high pitch music. Quite simple, right? And, fun fact, even before films had first dialogues, guess what? They had soundtracks. But how was it done in the 20th century was, well, questionable. Well, most musicians played well-known pieces for the movie, or they tried to improvise. There was nothing really planned ahead. It wasn't until 1927 when The Jazz Singer, the movie, was released. The first movie synchronized with music. I'm so proud right now! I'm sorry, I'm just a geek for the movie music, as you can see watching this video. And guess what? The audience loved it. It was a big hit. The producers were shocked, and the world just gained a new genre. Because suddenly, soundtracks weren't just guides to somebody's emotions. They were the storytellers. And trust me, few notes could speak louder than hundreds of words. In the 1930s, music composers were officially a thing. And something called leitmotif was officially recognized in films. I'm sorry if I butchered that name too. Well, what is that? It's a specific melody or a song that you can identify with an idea, character, or a theme in a movie. And I know you may think, well, I don't know anything like this. You do, trust. It was in Harry Potter, it was in Star Wars, Lord of the Rings. Every and each one of those has something called leitmotif. Especially series had leitmotifs, because for recurring characters, it was just really easy to bring like a theme song, right? Like Pirates of the Caribbean, for example. Who said that? But then everything changed. World War II was upon us. Cinemas weren't for entertainment now. They were for propaganda. It really reshaped the fate and the future of cinema and its music. Like I said, movies during World War II weren't just entertainment. They were a sort of a tool to spread certain ideas, propagandas, messages, everything really. They were mostly used to shape how people thought about the enemy at the time. And music was the center of that. Composers started writing more music that was more emotional, bigger, more patriotic. You'd hear strong sections, more melodies, higher melodies, stronger melodies. Music that made heroes feel heroic and victories inevitable. It wasn't subtle, it was anything but subtle. The goal was clear. Make the audience feel as powerful as they could. Take a movie like Casablanca, where music wasn't just music. It was tied to any kind of emotions, love, loss, friendship, everything. That song, as time goes by, it became part of the story. It wasn't just a background. This era pushed movie music to become, well, more structured. Composers leaned into strong orchestras and compositional pieces. But the difference was that now it was fully synchronized to the picture on the screen. Music wasn't just behind the scenes right now. It was the scenes. It was defining them. If pre-war music guided emotions, then wartime music amplified them. Everything was more dramatic, more emotional, more deliberate. Because when something is uncertain, the world was really covered in chaos. Something needed to feel sure. Movies, stories, books, music. Those were the things that gave certainty to people in their darkest times. And that is a huge reason why film music from back then and now is so strong and unforgettable. So now we just stayed with one very important question. Why does film music hit so hard? Well, it's really, from a biological point, very simple. Brain receives sounds first, then light. So you can hear something before you can see something. And this is really simple, just sounds travels faster. Then we come back to the leitmotif. This makes, well, for example, Lord Vader connected to his own melody. That's what composers use to guide and amplify your emotions. Let's think Jaws, for example. Its main theme has only 2 notes, and you will recognize it everywhere. And it will bring the same emotions as it did during watching the movie. And it will bring the same emotions as it did during the duration of the movie. Because it suddenly makes you feel uncomfortable. Like you would want to take your skin off. Because it's just so uncanny. Why? Because the brain recognizes it. It reacts to sound first. It doesn't react to the picture first. Even if it's by milliseconds, even if it's nanoseconds, you'll hear it first. And your brain automatically rewinds it to being like, oh, I don't feel comfortable with that because this music, this specific piece makes me feel uncomfortable. So you don't care that you're watching a movie because this is processed in your brain much later. You first care about the feeling of stress, of the skin wanting to crawl out of you. But then you watch it and your brain recognizes it. Oh, so that feeling is directly linked with what you see on the screen. And now, when you rewatch Jaws, you will be thinking of the same thing. You'll feel the same way, even if you might not agree with it, because this is how your brain works. So it really works in a few simple steps. Hear the music, let your brain recognize it, remember. Because one thing is for certain, people may forget what happened, people may forget the action, but they will never forget how it made them feel. Silence is also very important. It's an important part of the composition. It can build tension, make you feel stressed, make you feel like something is supposed to be there, but it is not. Silence is a great climax for that. Music is something that connected people and still connects them and will connect them in the future. The ancient chants, the lullabies, the concerts, everything works together. And everything that I just said may be brought together by an amazing composer in the movie. Music doesn't convey only emotions, but also ideas, and ideas that are connected to emotions. If something feels comfortable to you, or if something makes an impression on you, it is more likely to convey the idea. Let's take Pocahontas, for example. One of my personal faves. I have vinyl right here. When you hear just around the river bend, or the colors of the wind, you just are so amazed. And the idea of people being tricked and people being killed is just conveyed so much more stronger than if it would without music. And this is again because music not only guides your emotions but also amplifies them. And obviously, like I said, people may forget the action, but they will never forget how it made you feel. And therefore, if your emotions and feelings are amplified, you will never forget them. And now all the dots are connecting because it conveys the message stronger in a perfect manner. And at the end, the most important thing is that it doesn't only amplify your emotions and your feelings. It also makes something great look and sound epic until it becomes infinite. And then you realize some of your favorite scenes, moments in the movies weren't just about what was happening on the screen. It was also about the music. By the way, I just must show you this Aladdin Walmart special edition vinyl that I just got. And you must say you're impressed because it is hard to get like a Walmart edition in Poland, in Europe. Like, come on, be so for real right now. And I got it for like 100 zlotys, was it like $25, I think? And I love it. My two newest editions, Labyrinth and the Avatar, The Way of Water. I've got one, I've got two, I've got three. Never ending story. I love this movie. And now my two last editions, newest editions because I have more there. Peaky Blinders and My Little Pony. I love My Little Pony, and it has Luna's lullaby. Oh, and also I forgot to tell you, Hunger Games. This is what I was strong in the beginning. Okay, bye!